As we get closer to the NBA trade deadline, one name keeps making more and more sense for the Miami Heat, and that player is Michael Porter Jr. So the Nets are expected to move on from him, and the timing honestly feels perfect because MPJ is having the best season of his career. And Miami's roster construction right now, it really lines up perfectly with what he can bring to the table. And this Miami Heat team definitely needs to make a change. So let's talk about the season that he's having so far and the numbers and the fit and why this is a move the Miami Heat should seriously consider if they want to take the next step and actually compete this season. So Michael Porter Jr., this year he's putting up career best numbers. He's averaging around 25 points per game, almost 8 rebounds, over 3 assists. He's shooting efficiently across the board, over 40% from three, which is outstanding. And this isn't a guy who's just putting up stats. Like, this is a high level scorer on real defensive attention. Teams are now scouting for him, and he's doing it as one of the focal points on Brooklyn's offense. He's seeing doubles, he's seeing tough closeouts, and he's still producing right now. And we know he's a champion, obviously, as he won a ring with the Denver Nuggets when they beat the Miami Heat back in 2023. So he is 6'10". He has elite touch. He scores in ways that Miami simply doesn't have the ability to on the roster right now. And obviously, the few things that he's good at: catch and shoot threes, pull up shots over smaller defenders, quick trigger jumpers off movement. He's good at offensive rebounds as well and putbacks, which is great. Obviously, he'll give the Miami Heat much needed size, and you can't scheme that away easily. And let's talk honestly about where the Miami Heat are right now. The Miami Heat haven't won back-to-back games since early January, and they're only a couple games above 500. They beat teams like the Thunder, then they go and lose another game to a lower type team, and it's just super frustrating watching this Miami Heat team struggle. And right now, Bam Adebayo is their anchor, and he's inconsistent. Tyler Herro would be their primary scorer along Norman Powell, but he's always injured. Norman Powell is their best offensive weapon right now, the most consistent player that we've had this season. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is playing like a sixth man and as a connector and as a secondary scorer off the bench. Plus, we have some decent role players and some young pieces. That's a solid foundation, but there's a clear issue. Miami lacks size on the wing that can consistently score 20-plus points without needing the offense to bend around them. So Andrew Wiggins has been great in that position, but Michael Porter Jr. is playing a lot better, and he's younger and in his prime right now, and he wants that opportunity. So adding him around players like Norman Powell, maybe Tyler Herro if we don't trade him for MPJ. Tyler Herro is a great scorer, but he's still a guard who can be pressured physically. And Norman Powell, he brings downhill aggression at times and shot making, but he's more of a combo scorer than a true mismatch. Michael Porter Jr. gives the Miami Heat something different, and this is where MPJ can really separate himself. At 6'10", he doesn't need separation to score. He just rises up and shoots over smaller wings, over shooting guards, and that matters late in games when offenses break down. And the Miami Heat's half-court offense has broken down a lot. They're very inconsistent in general, and Miami has struggled in clutch situations, especially in the past, because they don't always have someone who could simply get a bucket, like when nothing else is working. And there's no real available superstar out there, but MPJ is a guy that can help them, especially this season, averaging 25 points per game. And with him on the floor, Bam gets more room to operate in the mid post, and Tyler Herro would see fewer traps. Norman Powell, if we kept him, again, I don't know what the package would look like, but Norman Powell gets cleaner driving lanes because he creates spacing on the floor. And Jaime Jaquez gets easier reads attacking closeouts if MPJ is on the floor. This is all theoretical, but spacing wings like MPJ, they raise the efficiency of everyone else around them. And one of the biggest misconceptions about MPJ is that he needs the ball. And he really doesn't. He scores off of pin downs, flare screens, relocation threes, quick swing passes, broken plays, offensive rebounds. That definitely fits in with Eric Spoelstra's motion-heavy offense extremely well. With the drive and kick type of offense, the pace and space, he is someone that could flourish, I think, in this system. And you don't need to overhaul your system. You plug him in and you let him punish defenders for making mistakes. And so I think this makes sense. And with Bam Adebayo, Bam thrives when defenses can't load up on him, and MPJ forces bigs to stay attached on the perimeter, opening up short roll opportunities, isolation plays on the elbow for Bam Adebayo, dribble handoffs with different players like Norman Powell. Um, that's going to be huge, I think, if we can add someone, and adding a guy who's capable of scoring 25 points per game is going to be huge because it's going to provide our team with better shot quality, less forcing and like late in games, just more energy. Brooklyn isn't contending, and MPJ's value may never be higher. He's in his prime. He's actually healthy right now. He's producing at an elite level. He's on a contract that is not crazy, but he is a perfect trade deadline piece. And Miami, in the meantime, they do have some draft picks. They could have more if we can get a trade pick back from the Terry Rozier debacle. But we do have tradable contracts, expiring contracts, some young players that could fit the Nets timeline because they are rebuilding, retooling, and this isn't about blowing things up. It's about targeting a real difference maker. And if the Miami Heat want to compete, which they always do, they never want to tank. And if they want to get out of the middle, which they're always in the middle, always in the plan, they're the eighth seed. They don't need just another hustle guy. They don't need another project. They need size, shot making, a wing who could score, and when defenses lock in, Michael Porter can check all of those boxes. Again, he's having a career season. He fits the current roster. He helps Miami transition into the next era the right way, I think. So let me know, Heat Nation, do you guys think we should trade for Michael Porter Jr.? And what would you give up for him? Thanks again, and make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.